Alright guys, after JP kind of interrupted my coverage of the 2023 Halloween event over here on NA, we're finally back to do the event guide for this, and there is a ton of stuff that we get from this event. Not only do you get the extra NP copies for all the free-to-play Lizzes, and you get a new free-to-play Liz, but you also just get a metric butt ton of CEs because pretty much all of the old Halloween CEs come back, and I'm just for the sake of my own sanity, I'm only going to be talking about the 5-star ones that come out, but we also get a Mystic code for this that's also pretty solid. It's just absolutely insane. There's also 3 point ladders. There's just a lot to do with this event. It's kind of like we had this huge drought over on NA where, you know, after a really solid summer event and we had Nero Fest come back around, there's pretty much nothing to do. We were just kind of sitting in a content drought waiting for whatever the NA exclusive was. Then we got the GSSR, they brought back all the old events, and then bam, they smacked this down on us. Now, the only thing that I don't really like about this event too much is the event bonus over here. Is it over? Yeah, there it is. You don't really have a whole lot of very strong options, right? There's not really a lot of big arts loopers or big buster loopers for you to use for this event, which is kind of a shame because it means unless you don't have like higher NP units or you don't have the new event bonus servants, things might be a little more rough going into like the challenge quest or going into the 90 plus and 90 plus plus nodes. Well, actually, I think we just have 90 plus on this one. We're still waiting for 90 plus plus over here. But thankfully, the 90 plus, like the final best node to farm, isn't actually that bad. So normally where this would be kind of a negative, and I'm still a little salty that it's a very slim pickings over here, they fix it up a little bit by 1, making the free quest not that bad, but 2, one of the gimmicks for this event is that you can increase the appearance of enemies, and you can fight up to 6 people on a node. So if you're one of those guys that normally struggles with your quick or your arts farming, this should be a lot easier for you on this one, because fighting 4, 5, even 6 people increases the amount of hits that your NPs are doing on the enemies, which means more NP refund. Now, obviously, if you're buster farming, you don't care about any of that. If you're gonna bring, I don't know, Mordred or your Morgan or whoever, right? Your Artorias, whoever you want, right? You don't really care about that because you don't really refund. You're kind of just smacking the enemy and then just taking raw NP and then just firing your NP as many times as you can. But if you, especially for someone like Jacques, she'll look really good in this event. Same thing for like Zenobia, because they have the event damage bonus, but they're also going to be fighting more enemies than usual, which means their NP refund is going to go up. So that's really one of the few criticisms I have. I guess one of the others is we got a lot to do. Now, on the one hand, this means we're going to be getting 3 lores, which is always really nice. I love it when we get 3 lores. Little side tangent, I just NP5'd Angra you trying to get the bronze event CE. So I spent all my lores getting him to 10, 10, 10 as kind of a gag or a meme, but now I'm out of lores. I need them for people like Summer Anastasia and stuff. So I'm really happy that we're getting 3 lores for this event. But do keep in mind, this is also going to be getting your event coins for certain other Liz units. You can also see that you're getting some copies for the Rider Liz for the event, who you do want to get. The Rider Liz, I'll probably make a video maybe the day after this one goes live. She is very, very strong. She is a very good free-to-play unit that has a lot of usages moving forward. Do not skip out on this servant, and don't look at some of her skills and be like, what? Demerits? You can play around them, right? It's not that bad, and she's very, very strong. But as you can also see, we got a lot of different CEs and stuff that we're going to be getting over here. So I'm going to skip over. Okay, well, we'll go over the free quest in just a second. We're just going to start looking at some of the free-to-play stuff that we get from this, because there is a lot. So first and foremost, you have the 5-star command code that you're going to be getting, which is very weird because I think the 4-star is going to be a little bit more useful, right? You get a female anti-damage mod, right? Which you can smack on your Camilla or something, or just anyone that you usually bring as a boss killer. That can just be very nice to just have that little bit of extra damage mod that's just guaranteed on whatever card you want. I think that's solid, but I don't think this is terrible. Getting 3 stars, I mean, the funny thing is always just tacking this on like an arts card. So it's like, my arts card is genning stars and whatnot. But this is like fine, but more situational, if anything. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'll slap it on someone. I don't know. I'll slap it on Kagetora or something and call it a day. This, I might find some kind of usage for it. I just like it when they give us these free power mods, because it just makes some of your DPS guys, especially dudes that you just bring to a lot of different boss fights. Like for me, Gilgamesh and Morgan are kind of like my dedicated boss killing people because they're some of my favorite servants. And so being able to slap this on them and help them out in more boss style content will be nice. So I'm pretty big fan of getting these. This, normally I would say curse, big stinky, but one, we just got a CE over on JP that is pretty much Honey Lake, but for curse damage, so one, that's good. And two, after the Morgan video of me clearing Kiara with her, which had no audio, still sorry about that one, I just did not click record the other channel, but I won that run because of Morgan's curse, right? So I will never make fun of damage over time ever again. I'm not making fun of curse, poison, burn, nothing. Won that run entirely because of the curse. So you know what? We'll take it. This is also more notably going to be very good for Jacques de Molay, who has a curse damage mod. And until she gets her 3rd skill buff where all of her cards automatically apply curse, this might be very useful in just slapping this on one of Jacques' cards, and then before you fire your NP, have her use one of her normal attacks on one of the big boss people in the wave, so that way she gets her special damage mod kicking in, because then she starts doing really, really good damage. Now, we're going to start moving into some of the CEs over here. Oh boy, there is kind of a lot to go over, and a lot of these are very, very strong. So, the Iris Field one is making its return. This is just going to be a very solid one for most people. I still use this from time to time over on JP. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's a split damage CE. That is a little bit annoying. If you're newer and you don't know why this is good, basically getting a 2k attack buff is far and away going to be more noticeable and more useful to you than getting a 2k HP buff. Consider the fact that like most bosses will just hit you for like 3 to 4k anyway. That 2k HP is barely going to be noticeable, and it might save you in like 1 in 100 runs, but getting an extra 2k attack is so much more noticeable. It just gasses up your servant's damage so much more and just goes a longer way than getting 2k HP. So that's a little bit annoying for the Halloween Princess CE, but still getting free 50% gauge and 20% battery is really good, especially if you need a CE to use with the Koyenskaya and Oberon meta, although I don't know why you would use this on your Buster Servants when we have, where is it? Aerial Drive coming back. This, I know a lot of people have been looking out for. This is one of the better Buster CEs in the game. Starting you off with 50%, which is crucial for Koyenskaya. She loves it when her people have those 50% starting gauges. Very, very good synergy. Plus the NP damage, which synergizes very well with Oberon, and extra Buster damage, right? Which is just good for your Buster units. I guess this one you maybe can use on some of your art servants if you have weaker art servants, like say Saber Nero or something, and you're also going to be using them in conjunction with Oberon, because this does work with Oberon's 3rd skill over here. But this is definitely going to be the main one that a lot of people are looking out for. Make sure, if anything, you get this one done. And if you want to do CE bombs and everything, this is a good one to target, because see that 2k max attack, that we like to see that. Attack CEs always going to be very good. Now we have some of the other ones over here. We have we have this CE, which is you can grab it for collector's purposes. I mean, doesn't really have a use. It's like 75% healing rate is whatever. You can grab it for collection purposes, I suppose. Don't really give this one too much of your time of day. It's not very useful. This one is kind of nice, although not the most insane one. Every one of these other CEs kind of gets overshadowed by the fact that Aerial Drive is so insanely good, because this, to be fair, would not be that bad. It's like, okay, you get like 10% Buster, a little bit of NP gain, 4 stars per turn. Maybe this is very nice in some more CQ difficult content. Like, you know, maybe you could use it in those capacities, but no, unfortunately, you have Aerial Drive coming out, which just kind of blows everything out of the water. Tiny Dressmaker is also another good one that kind of blows these other ones out of the water. I mean, it's not bad, but pretty similarly to like Maiden Halloween and probably Halloween Princess, you're probably not going to use them. I could see some use for it, but probably just not going to use them. We have this one. I actually do think this one is pretty solid, depending if you have some of the Buster servants that can actually farm from 0%. Someone like Melusine or Arsuite, who are going to be getting next year for the anniversary, right? Because this gives you 25% NP damage, good with Oberon, and then gives you extra Buster damage, right? So technically, you're getting more damage than Aerial Drive over here, which is 10 and 10. This is 15 and 25. You get a lot more damage. Unfortunately, the servants that can use it are a lot more restricted, right? Because there are very, very few Buster servants that actually farm with Black Grill. Usually you need those like massive 100% batteries or some way to like trigger it over time, or like you just refund massive amounts as you're going through the quest, which is not a whole lot of servants that can actually do that, right? Most of them are going to want to use something like Aerial Drive, which is probably why this one is getting a lot of attention. But I don't know, if you have Melusine, this can be a good option for her, right? It's also an attack CE, so that's also pretty solid. Just maybe keep this one in the back of your head. Tiny Dressmaker is another big one that we're getting right now. This is probably going to be a bit more useful and more difficult content. Just getting a flat debuff immunity with the 50% starting gauge, and it still gives you NP damage, means that going into more difficult content, it still synergizes with Oberon if you want to like blow the enemy's back out at the very end of the challenge quest or boss fight. But it also means that at the very beginning, any random stuns, charms, attack downs, anything that they want to throw your way that's going to just slow you down in the fight can kind of just be negged instantly. And then, I mean, you also start with 50% gauge, which is also very, very nice. It's just good for more difficult content. I do like the CE. I think this one might see a little bit of usage here and there. And then there's this one, which I really don't know how often you're going to use. I mean, getting 1 guts is like cool, but you revive with 1 HP and it's kind of like, yeah, shrug. 30% buster crit damage is nice, but I can't say I've ever really used the CE over on JP. So I don't know how many people will find a usage for it over here on NA. Maybe if you have a weaker box and you're going into some harder fights, because you do only have to clear Orleans for this event to take part in it, right? So maybe you're struggling on some bosses and you need the guts to survive. I don't know, like maybe you could find some usage for it, but anybody that's kind of got a more well-established account is probably not going to be using this CE. So pretty much keep your eye out for Aerial Drive. I think this one can have some usage. Tiny Dressmaker is nice. And then where's the last one? Then there's Halloween Princess. I think this one does have a little bit of usage, but again, you're probably going to fall back on Aerial Drive. So now let's talk about the Mystic Hood. Bro, there is so much to go over in this event. They just dump so much, dude. They just gave us so much for this. But this one is very, very strong. I do like this because they gave it to us right as we're now in the Buster meta, right? You're going to be getting yourself a big old Buster buff and a big old NP damage buff. Who loves that? Oberon. More Oberon buffs. Everything they throw to this man, they threw him this Mystic Code, they threw him this Aerial Drive. Oberon, he's just eating, right? He's just eating. Not only do you have a really good CE to use now, but now you also have a very good Mystic Code. And because they're event Mystic Codes, I don't believe they actually take that much to actually level up. I think these are less than some of the other ones down here, I think. Like, I know the new Plug Suit is actually kind of insane. Okay, I can't find it. Okay, yeah, look at this one. Look at this one. 155 mil. Insane, bro. Look at this. Only 80 or 8.9. Where'd it go? There it is. Look at it. Crazy, crazy good. The invincibility for 2 attacks is also very nice if you want to bring this into more difficult content. And then being able to save yourself from one of the more annoying debuffs, being like stun or charm, is also very nice. And 10% gauge can come up every now and then. So this is just very good. I love this Mystic Code. It's very, very useful. It's a shame that I now have it at level 10 on JP because now I don't really want to use it. It's that little weird tick that all us FGO players have. As soon as we get a Mystic Code to level 10, it's like, I don't want to use it anymore. Even if Plug Suit is still really insane, I'm like, I'm going to use Atlas Academy for my Buster farming because I can still level it up. But finally, let's just talk about the free quests, which are mainly going to be hitting on the event. And let me show you guys the last node here. Look at how nice they are to us right now. Look at this. This is the best node for you to be farming because it drops literally everything. And look at this. They just made it a 332 node. So if you're going to be using your arts units, you're going to be using your quick units, whoever, they're going to be getting just absolutely fine refund. You can also just find extra people using the appearance bonus CEs over here. It's just going to be super nice. And they're not even that big. Look at them, 124k. They're tiny, bro. They're so small. You're going to steamroll these stages. I love these free quests, right? Like even this one. This one's also good. Look at it. 332 node over here. Just insane. This one's a little bit annoying. I guess these can be a little bit annoying. But even then, you can just farm this one. Still fine, right? Like if you don't want to bother with like berserkers who give you like no refund back and you got to deal with it being a 131 node, you just farm any of these other ones, right? They still drop just pretty much literally everything, right? You just farm those instead, which are way easier, right? Same thing for this one, right? If you don't want to deal with a 311 node, just don't worry about it. Wait till you get to the very end over here. Wait till these last 2 nodes where you just get pretty much everything, especially this one. And then it's just like a normal node, right? It's super nice. It's not going to be all that hard of an event. There is the CQ, but look, I'm going to keep it a stack with you guys. I don't remember actually doing this CQ over on JP. I think I was just farming the event because there were 3-point ladders. Like, I'm never going to lie to you guys, right? Like, some other people might be like, oh, I trashed this CQ. I'm like, bro, I don't think I did this one. I'm going to keep it a stack. I don't think I did it, so I don't really know the gimmick behind it. So Might have to go to some of the other FGO guys for that one, because I'm like, I don't remember what this one is, but I'll probably get cooked by it over on stream, which, by the way, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if you want to see me farm this event and take on the CQ when it unlocks, which might be more fun because, you know, no experience in the fight. I'm just going to get absolutely cooked. But with that being said, I believe that's everything for the event. I mean, I would have gone over the summoning campaigns and everything, but I've already done videos for those guys. We already got all this stuff out. There's 4-star CEs and 3-star CEs that you get in the event shop that I didn't cover, but who is going to use the 4 and 3-star CEs? Nobody, all right? I know there will be like one person in the comments being like, I'm actually going to use the 3-star CE because it gives me 5% damage cut. You know what? Good for you, Frederick, over there. All right, you enjoy using the 3-star CE. Me and the boys, we rock an aerial drive. All right, we're rocking the good CEs. But on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.